Anything is possible with Jack Krasula on News Talk 760 WJR.
Welcome back. We're with PBS's star appraiser on Antiques Roadshow, Caroline Ashleigh. Caroline, you've been blessed with a lot of great talents, and God has really blessed you. One of which is that you've kept your enthusiasm and your childlike wonder. It's a great trait. If somebody's listening tonight and senses that, and they say, I don't have that right now, I've lost that, how do they get that childlike wonder back?
Well, first of all, I'd like to just preface my response by saying that I'll just bet that many of the people you've interviewed in this program, on this show, have imparted almost the same kind of information, whether they're appraisers or they're politicians or they're in the sports arena. I think that when you find your true avocation in life, I think that you sort of find that sweet spot where the energy flows. And you and I have talked about that before. And I think that once you find that, you really do come to a sense of higher purpose sometimes that inspires you and elevates you to do your best work. I think part of my responsibility is to be able to share that with people coming up in the profession and to share with them my enthusiasm and my energy and impart and imbue them with the excitement that I come to work with every day that just keeps my batteries completely charged. And I do think that part of the way in which we want to help people coming up into our professions, whatever they may be, is to help them in an apprentice type of manner, to be able to share our knowledge, but also give them the chance to get out there and experiment, to make mistakes, to have successes, and to learn from them, and to constantly be there as a support system to encourage them so that they continue on and they achieve their goals or whatever happens to be the most passionate thing for them. For me, it's art and antiques. It could be many things for many different people, but I think that common thread is just finding one sweet spot, and then I think the door's open.
We need to be brave in today's times, and it's very hard for a lot of people to take risks. Boy, your whole life has been risks and being brave. Talk to us about taking risks.
Well, I remember a couple of the first risks I took. I decided to go into this business, and my father said to me, "How are you going to make a living at this?" And I said, "Dad, I'll figure it out." And at that, then I decided to go on a motorcycle trip through Europe and to visit every single cathedral, every single museum that I could possibly afford to go see. Did I do it with my dad's approval? No, that was a big risk. But I came back with a huge learning experience that was invaluable. That was a risk, but it paid off huge dividends in the end result. And then I think taking risks to, go into the museum world, to go into the auction world, to go onto TV with Antiques Roadshow, those were all risks, things where you either kind of sink or you swim. But I think unless you try your mettle, you never really know what you're made of. So I think it's very important to stretch yourself in as many ways as you possibly can.
When a person figures out what they love to do, then they have to work the rest of their life in the hope of becoming the best at that. You've become one of the world's best in appraising collectibles. Talk to us about becoming the best in something.
The bar is always higher. So in other words, once anyone achieves a certain level, instead of becoming comfortable in that level, at that level, or in that range of skills. I think that you have to keep challenging yourself. I think other people will challenge you as well. And I think all those challenges perfect our talents and help us become the best of who we can be. And again, as I said before, I think one of the best ways in which to become the best is to take risks, to make mistakes, because we really do, in the end result, learn best from our mistakes. And every time I look at a new thing, I say to myself, you know what, there's something here that I've never encountered before, and that is going to help me perfect my ability, help me stretch my mind, my talents, to continue to become better and better and better. And in my profession, it's a humbling one. We're always confronted with new challenges.
Everybody wants to feel important and appreciated. And people come to you with these possessions from their grandparents, parents, whatever, that's special to them, and asking you to appraise it. And in today's times, time after time, it's worth less than they thought it was worth. How do you tell them it's worth less than they wanted it to be or hoped it to be and still make them feel important?
You know what I find, Jack? A lot of times I think we're under the misconception that people are always interested in the value of something. What I found working on Antiques Roadshow is what they're really interested in is the history of these things and the meaningfulness that these things have in their own lives, the sentimental value that they hold for them, which is priceless. There's no dollar amount you can apply to something that has a human connection for someone or a sentimental value for someone. So for me, I always tell people that although it may not have a great deal of financial worth, the sentimental value, the emotional connection that they have with these treasures is something you could never put any price on, no matter what.
You're in the business of stuff, Caroline Ashleigh. How do you ensure that stuff doesn't control your life?
Well, it does control many, many people's lives. And I think that we really I have to be cognizant all the time of realizing that in the end result, we're all only custodians. That all of these things are going to pass from us to someone else in the future, whether it's a family member or someone else. And the best we can be are very, very good custodians. We don't really own any of these things, and they should not possess us.
What advice would you give to our young listeners tonight?
I would say that if they wanted to get into my profession, the very first thing to do would be to find a mentor like me, or to find a mentor at one of the appraisal organizations, the Appraisers Association of America, the AAA, the ISA, the International Society of Appraisers, or the ASA, the American Society of Appraisers, and to find out what things they need to do to prepare themselves for getting involved in this profession. But first of all, to find someone who's going to give them very good advice and sort of lead them down the right path to make that journey a little easier.
Caroline Ashleigh, you are a role model. You're an inspiration. You're doing a great job in God's master plan. Keep it up.
Thank you so much, Jack. Pleasure to be here.
Please join us next Sunday when our guest will be the all-time winningest basketball coach in collegiate history, Coach Don Meyer. Until then, I'm Jack Krasula. Thanks for listening, and make it a great week, because with God, anything is possible.